cool leaks. Before we get into the video, I would like you to visit our website. It has really cool content related to HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript, Python, WordPress, Linux, Raspberry Pi. Do visit it. Hello guys, today I would be discussing with you how to check data type in JavaScript using Typeof. So starting from, what is Typeof? Typeof is an operator that is used for knowing what is a data type of a certain variable. But why is there a need for us to know a certain variable type anyway? Why do we need to use Typeof for knowing any variable type? If you've used JavaScript before, you would have known, or you would know how to define variable in it. So you would know that in JavaScript we just use var, which means variable, that is name, variable name. As long as your naming convention is correct, it won't give any error. So variable name equals to and its value. And that's all, you're done. You define your variable, that's quite good and cool. But if you've noticed that in JavaScript, you don't have to attach data types with the variable like we normally do in other languages such as C or C#. And if you've used or have prior knowledge about C or C#, you would know that its syntax go like int a equals to 9. You're telling the compiler that the variable you're using is an integer and its value is 9. So that's how it goes normally, but in JavaScript that's not the case. You just use var a equals to 9. You're using var, but why var? Like what kind of variable that? You know it's variable, but what kind? You have no idea. That's because JavaScript is actually a dynamic. It supports dynamic variable. That means I can change this variable anywhere at any point in my program. Which means, like for example, my a is equals to 9 here. Oh wait, that's C syntax. I'm using var a equal to 9. That's a number. But at some point in the program, I have an urge to change this a variable to something else. I can just go ahead and write a equals to and make it a string. And use code leak. And it won't throw any error because there is no syntax error here. It's allowed in JavaScript. And further, I want to change it and make it a equals to, and want to make it Boolean. As you can see, there is no error. I can change my variable anywhere at any point of my program. And this is the main reason why we need Typeof. Typeof is needed for us programmers to keep a track of any variable type. So before this, I would like to tell you an important information about JavaScript, and that is JavaScript supports 3 different categories of data. Number 1 is primary data type that supports basic types such as number, Boolean, strings, and floats. Then there is referential data type that supports objects, arrays, and functions. And there is special data types such as undefined, null, etc. So starting from, I've already listed all or almost all of the primary data types. See, as you can see, there is number. I defined A as number, string, and then Boolean. Float is missing, but we'll just do with these. So there comes a time in the program I want to check what type does my variable A has. So what do I need to do is type document dot write, and then I can just write Typeof. That's the syntax. You need to write Typeof and the variable name or any constant. You can write 9 directly as well, and it will tell that 9 is the number. But in my case, I want to use it for knowing the variable A, and then save it. And I'm going to redo it. As you can see, it tells number. That's because on that point, A is a number. A is a number, yeah. It's a number. So if I want, I can just copy this line. As my variable name is A and I just made it that way. I can change it, but I just want to show you that what if you want to check the same variable in different part of your code. Now if you can see there is number, then there's string, and then it's boolean. That's because first A was number, because I saved 9 inside it, and then A is a string, because it has code leaks in it, and then A is a boolean because it is having a false stored in it. That's how you use Typeof for primary data types. But now if you want to check or use Typeof for referential data types such as functions, arrays, or objects, what you can do is function. Create a function first of all. Then write my function. Now you can like add any variable inside. I'm going to use num equals to 10, and then str for code, and return num. Now if I want to check what data type my function has, then I can just write document dot write and write Typeof. And my function name is my function. Yep. And that's how you're supposed to do for checking your function. Now if I reload it, it's giving me a number because number is the number in the num I gave right now has 10 stored in it, which is a number. If I want, I can even change, like what if I give string here at the what if my function is returning a string? Wait, what? Give me a string, because the value my function is returning a string. The reason why this is happening is because my function is returning something in particular. Otherwise, it would be a function, and it's not returning anything. But right now, it's returning something, and that is a string. Like if you know, my function is returning str, and the thing which is stored in str is actually a code, which means my function is equal to code, string code, which is. So if I write type in code, it should give me same result. String, that's the code. Code is string. That's what's actually happening. So let's go back. But what if I want to check, what if my function does not have anything inside it? It's not returning anything. So I can just write function ABC. I'm going to name my function ABC. That's really bad. But I ran out of ideas. And that's all. Now if I want to check what data type this function has, go ahead and check. And see, it's function. My function data type is function. Discovery. So, yep. That's the function. But the reason why these are called referential data types is because functions, objects, and arrays in JavaScript are heterogeneous, which means it can hold multiple data types, or more precisely, they can carry data for different types. For example, as you see just now, that function, if I'm returning value, any value which is a number, its data type would be num. Its data type would be number. And if I'm returning a string, its data type would be string. And if it does not return anything, it would be a function. This is the main reason why these referential data types are, dealt separately than primary ones. So now if I want to go ahead and check the data type of an object, I can write const obj. I'm not going to write up that whole. And name code week. And I can go ahead now and check its data type. Document.write type of the variable or object I want to use is obj. Now if I refresh it, it's going to give me undefined. Maybe I did some mistake. Oh, it was capital O. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was capital O. I thought maybe I did something wrong. Now if I just save it, it's going to give me object. That's because I just saved an object. And object data type is also an object. If you want, you can change this object to any name. Like I am creating an object. It's not like for sure you need to keep it object. You can name it anything. I want to name it str or s1. So you can just check its type s1, and it's still going to give you object because s1 is an object. Then there comes an array. Normally arrays are homogeneous, but JavaScript supports heterogeneous data types for array as well. That means I can just write var array equals to, if I write 1, 2, code, true, it shall not give any error to me because it supports heterogeneous data types or the heterogeneous, what do we say? So now what can I do is write document that write Typeof array. And when you're going to save it and then execute this line, you're going to get object. The reason why you're getting an object, that's because our heterogeneous array is storing all the data just like an object, as all the data stored in it is not homogeneous. It's storing different type of data. You can see there 1, 2 is a number, code is actually a string, and then true is a boolean. It's saving heterogeneous kind of data, which is same as object. That's why its data type would be object. This is the main reason why JavaScript came up with, the reason why we use is array in JavaScript to check whether the array is an array or it is an object. What if like it is an object? To distinguish between them, I can just start over here. Array dot array. Sorry, array dot is array. Then write my variable name. And it will give me true. That's because it is an array. But to distinguish between an array and object, what can I do is var obj equals to name, code, leaks. Now if I want to check this, and I want to check is code also an array, as both data type is an array. Sorry, is an object. Array is also an object, and object is also an object for real. So to distinguish between them, I'm just doing this. Over here I can just give obj. So over here, I'm going to tell you result before, and I'm going to tell you what the output comes. So my screen should display type of an array should be an object. Then array is an array, so it will be true. And array object is not an array, so it would be false. So as you can see, object, then there is true, and then false. And that's because my array is an array, that's why it was true. But object which I made were obj, that was an object. That's why it's not an array. That's why it is false. That's how you can use is array to distinguish between object and an array. And Typeof does not tell you that is array an array or not. Now you can come on our last data types, which are special data types, null and undefined. So if you know, undefined occurs when a variable is declared but is not initialized. That means it is not assigned any value. So if I write var leaks, that's all. If I leave it like this and want to find out what is the data type of leaks, it would give me undefined. Document dot write type of, because I want to know the type of what is the data type of leak. So I can go ahead and check. It will be undefined because I did not define it. Obviously, it would give me undefined. But if I want to check, what do we say, type of null, it's gonna give me object. See? Null data type is an object. So normally null is used, it's a bug you can say, because normally if data type is not defined, or if there is any variable which does not have any assigned value, it should be null. So this is the main reason why if you do over here, what if I want to write? What if I write leak equals to null? As this is a loose equality operator, it will give me true. Oh wait, there's supposed to be double equals. That's for loose equality. So double equals to are used for loose equality operators. So if I say leaks is equal to null, it's gonna give me true. That's because it does not have any value inside it. That's true. Leaks is null. But if I use strict equality operator, which is triple times 3, equal. I use 3 times equal over here. That is strict equality operator. And now if I check, it's gonna give me false. That's because when you're using a strict operator, you're actually checking its data type as well. You're going to check that leaks data type should be equal to null data type as well. That obviously null means that place or that variable does not have any value. But that also means that null type, data type, and leaks data type both should be, what do we say? Both should be equal as well. Then it would return true. But over here, as we know, leaks data type is undefined, and null data type is supposed to be object. So it's gonna give me false, and that's what it did. It gave me false. But same thing if I check for undefined. What if I write over here undefined? And check undefined here. But if leaks equals to undefined, yes, it's supposed to give me true over here. But is the type of undefined also undefined, just like leaks? So we can check. Refresh. And as you can see, undefined has data type also undefined, which is the reason why if you check loose or strict equality operators on it, it's going to give me true. And that's all. I think I covered all of the data types, which were primary, referential, and special data types. So last thing I would say that Typeof is vastly used and it is easy for us to use without any hustle of writing a big code or function, and still proving to be very handy and strong tool. That's all. And that's all for today. For more details, you can visit our website. Its link would be in the description box below. Hope you enjoyed our video. If you did, don't hesitate to like, share, subscribe, and click on the bell icon. If you have any sort of questions, you can leave the feedback in the comment section below. Thank you.